But that is a metaphor for Hollywood and their aversion to source material. That's Hollywood in a nutshell. If it ain't broke, break it anyway. Bezos is as trustworthy a steward to Tolkien's legacy as Denethor was to Gondor's, and oddly enough, this is exactly Tolkien's whole message. Everything is getting worse. The pursuit of power and machines destroy the beauty of a quiet life. However, the screaming harpies on Twitter keep screaming Tolkien is for everyone. They say that while deliberately trying to erase, exclude, and kick out the very people that made and maintained the fandom for decades. Upon decades, the showrunner said he wanted to make the show for everyone. That should be the moment where the red flag should have been flying. That was the moment where we all should have been concerned. This means pander to every lowest denominator, i.e. throw away an incredibly rich IP. That will lead to the disappointment of the 99% so the 1% doesn't cry about it. And what some people don't seem to grasp is that one of the reasons why Lord of the Rings movies was so good is because it was filmed at the exact right time. The turn of the millennium, the beginnings of the 2000s was perfect for it. The technology was just good enough for all the insane things you needed a computer for to create realism. For example, Gollum. They weren't overusing effects like they did in the Hobbit movies, and they damn sure did not mix any stupid politics like they would today. And by the way, if they're so concerned about making it so it would reflect what the real world actually looks like, why not just have cars then, or tall buildings, or purple-haired SJWs glued to their cell phones, spending their entire days on Twitter? It doesn't make sense. Why would you even bother with the work of a fictional fantasy if your priority is reflecting what the real world actually looks like? That is a dumb, moronic way to waste your time. You know, some of the nitpicking SJWs on Twitter seem to completely miss the fact that Tolkien did in fact have inclusivity. It's just not in the way that these weirdos are used to seeing it. He didn't shoehorn it in. He didn't superficially virtue signal by compromising the integrity just to make a point. For example, just look at Frodo and Sam. As hobbits, they were a race that were constantly looked down on, literally and figuratively, but yet their bravery was greater than their perceived weakness, and they saved Middle-earth. I can keep going. One of the best female representation in film I have ever seen was Eowyn, the only strong female warrior who screamed, "I am no man," and it felt appropriate and not out of place. As she stabbed the Witch King in the face, Eowyn's character development was done so well. She is just a regular person who wants to fight because she truly believes in it. She's not some stone cold killer. She's just like any regular person who's terrified most of the time she's out there, but she powers through to protect her father. That, my friends, is how you create a female hero. No need for superpowers or a spandex outfit. Anyway, back on topic, you have to love the pre-excuses for why this show is going to flop. If you have Amazon Prime, get ready for your subscription to go through the roof to cover for the embarrassing amount of money that's going to be lost on this show. See, I knew that this abomination was going to suck suck balls when they fired Tolkien expert Tom Shippey from the production. He worked on Peter Jackson's trilogy and he was going to work on this, but he was swiftly given the boot by Amazon within a few days. Was it because he protested how off the rails this idiotic show was heading into a gigantic burning dumpster fire? And on that bombshell, the best case scenario is that Amazon's show sucks and becomes forgotten and obscure, and Peter Jackson's 11-hour version, the only version I might add, remains what everyone remembers Mannix out.
This will begin to make things right.
And that is where things started to go wrong. Everyone seems to agree that
But that
What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with the RK Outpost, and from the very beginning, we knew that Disney's new live-action Snow White was going to be a complete and total disaster because, of course, like so many things in Hollywood, and specifically with Disney, they end up being focused on the completely wrong thing. It's not about the story, no. It's about identity politics. It's about representation. And with the casting of Rachel Zegler months ago, we all saw that because they race swapped the character of Snow White, a character whose literal skin color is described in the fairy tale itself. Skin white as snow. That's the entire reason for her name. Yet they're race swapping her for identity politics. And we've of course seen what happened recently when Peter Dinklage decided to go out and virtue signal about dwarves, and then Disney came right back and said, you know what? You're right. It's not right to show people with disabilities that way. We're debating just eliminating the dwarves entirely. So you now have Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, potentially without seven dwarves.